Ladies, gentlemen, MBs, welcome friends and others to Warui Deshou's Stream of Thought. This is the third season, and we're covering Banana Fish by Studio Mappa, iteration number 14, Core 2. It's fall.
I didn't realize that we were cast logging this by the Dewey Decimal System. But hey, you know, we're always
Captain's
breaking
log.
new ground here.
Start date. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. How are y'all doing?
Hi. So I'm the Subtle Doctor, and alongside me is erstwhile Warui Deshou companion, one of the originals, a Triple Crown, 5-star deluxe special combo, S rank, 7 gold letters, Shadon. He's here.
Hello, everyone. In case you're curious, this is Bailey's.
He's in the building!
Yep, I'm having a Bailey's tonight. It's been a long day. I've spent most of it on trains, and they've been crap. So I felt like treating myself to some alcoholic chocolate milk.
Alcohol, yes. Well, listen. Bailey's is wonderful. Bailey's,
Oh, it's bloody good.
Bailey's is glorious. I'm tempted to do a poll. Is Bailey's the greatest? Yes, maybe, no.
Do you want me to start picking fights again? Do you want me to start picking fights again with people on the internet? For God's sake, I've already been doing that recently. Jesus.
Yeah, Shadon has been embroiled in quite a few internet arguments relating to currently airing anime, which I've just missed because I haven't been watching any.
Because
of
you're
the new
sensible.
premieres.
Because you're sensible. You're
No,
not more
I mean,
like me.
Listen, the anime fire, at times it burns very bright and hot, and at times it simply, you know, is like a small candle, still there, still burning through the night, but the flame is small, and this is currently where I am in my anime journey. But
well, you're avoiding some of the more interesting hot takes on the internet as a result, so that might actually be to your benefit, to be quite honest.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about them, so I know what they are. Do you want to tell McGlorian what Bailey's tastes like? You said alcoholic chocolate milk, which is pretty descriptive.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's technically Irish cream liqueur, but really it is just chocolate milk with a touch of alcohol in it. 17%. I also have 2 steel ice cubes in here for extra freshness.
It's very sweet, but it has the sting that you crave with your
this is true.
Your liqueur.
Not something you can drink all night though. Not because it's got that much alcohol in it, but most because of the same reason you can't drink pear cider all night, because the taste builds up. You know, you get an aftertaste in your mouth, and then you're like,
the gunk. Yeah, the crud.
But for a one-off, it's pretty good. It's a nice nightcap.
So if anyone wants to, like, I am watching 20+ shows. Jesus Christ, Mirror. Well, if anyone wants to, like, tell me, you know, what to keep an eye on, what to
Thunderbolt Fantasy Season 2.
Yeah,
Season 2.
You and Blue Sea are all about the puppetry. But apart from Thunderbolt, yeah, if anyone wants to say, hey Doc, like when you're feeling the anime vibes, check out this show or that show. I would respectfully, I think, ask that you leave out Goblin Slayer, just because I think I don't want to go there. But you know, other shows, there seem to be a lot of intriguing ones. Gridman looks interesting. The Shonen show about the circus looks interesting.
I need to watch Zombieland Saga, to be fair.
Zombieland looks like some of the little clips and GIFs. I mean, the rap battle was just phenomenal. So,
are you telling me you're also into the idea of the show that's about the skeletal, you know, bookstore man? You know,
what show is
that? Knows?
I don't know. What show
I don't even know the name, but all I know is that literally it's a it is a show about a bookshop clerk who is also a skeleton. It's been going around on my Twitter, people sharing clips of it, where he goes like, "Special Yowie book." That's a line there. That is actually a line there, complete with pink, like giant pink font.
Does
I'll find you it. I'll find you at some point.
Does the skeleton like make spaghetti?
No.
Damn it.
I'm surprised. I am very surprised, actually, come to speak of it, someone hasn't done a clip where when he... Yeah, that's the one. Thank you, Salulabel. That's the one.
Yes.
Skullface Bookseller Honda-san.
Also, Blue Sea, like, Golden Kamui, I'm basically there. Like, I've like I said, Anime Flame, very small, very tiny, but when I think about Golden Kamui, it, like, you know, begins to flicker, and that's one I'm very interested to try. Double Decker looks really neat as well. It's a pain that no one else. It's one of those things that if I was in my normal sort of like anime consumption mode, I think I would definitely be evangelizing because it looks really neat. Miss Vampire Trash. No, it's okay. It's okay.
Everyone's free to watch what they want to.
I want to watch the Shonen Circus thing, and a lot of people may dismiss the Shonen, and they're all fools. But that, you know, that's neither here nor there. But we're actually here to talk about Banana Fish. And Shadon here is very like travel weary. I was having extreme bouts of anxiety last night, so I only got like 2.5, 3 hours of sleep. We're both very tired, so we're going to try to power through. We wanted to have a stream.
I'm just going to swill my Baileys contemplatively.
God damn it, that ice is fucking loud.
Sorry, I won't do that again. I didn't realize how loud
it's
that was
so loud in my ears.
Oh. It's solid. It's stainless steel. This isn't actually regular ice cube. Kind of genius, actually, because it doesn't water down the drink, but keeps it cool.
Yeah, I can't do I can't do JoJo because I haven't seen like part 3, part 2, which is to say the second half of part 3. I've seen part 2, and I'm not seeing part 4. So I'm behind on the JoJos.
Well, you've got a lot of homework then, and I hope you complete it all this week.
Yep, I know. It's
all 100 plus episodes.
Eat the whole thing. Do all of it.
Well, you know, if you use King Crimson's ability from part 5, that'll speed through it.
Which is what is King Crimson the stand, or is it the
King
character?
Crimson's the stand of the final boss guy from
I mean, at least I know. At least the band reference isn't lost on me. You know, I know King Crimson.
King Crimson's ability is the it allows you to speed up the effects of something. So, like, if you use its effects on a car, it will instantly skip from one place to another. That's
Very
the idea.
Cool. That's cool.
I think that's the skip behind anyway, but it stands as stands. They just do whatever they need to for the crazy shit. You know?
Well, thank you. No, we're we're okay.
Good night's sleep will sort me out.
Yeah, indeed. Same here. Although, like, it's tough because on my way to the bed, I passed by the PS4, and the PS4 has Hollow Knight on it. I've been putting like so much time into that game because I never played it when it came out last year. And
Obi 2 still support that Blue Sea.
Holy shit! It's a great game. I'm sorry about your tooth. That is not fun in the least. Do you guys watch anime on double speed? Oh my god, I can't. Like, that hurts my heart. Like,
why did we do that with Franks? Why didn't we do that with Franks? What the?
If
I didn't think of that.
Oh,
damn it!
It hurts me though because I mean, if people listen to our podcast at double speed, like, it would hurt me. And I understand that there are probably people that do our podcasts are fucking long, but I just, you know, but I get, you know, on one level it's like however you want to get it. But I'm like, that's not the intended way.
Wise move, Merritt. Wise move. The only way I should watch Franks. And the only way I should watch Franks was through its cliff notes on Wikipedia.
Reading the Wikipedia. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Give me the episode summary and leave it there. I can imagine the rest. All right, anyway, to Banana Fish episode 14, which, if I'm not mistaken, is called The Tender is the Night.
Tender is the Night, the fourth and final novel by, guess who? Your friend and mine, F. Scott Fitzgerald.
Damn.
Back again.
Also, Also sounds like the tagline to my last dating profile, but hey, there we go.
Tinder. That's amazing. Yeah. That's my new like jazz album. Like that's the name of it. Tinder is the night.
I'll introduce myself in the bar. So yes, my name is Shadon, but you can call me Tender is the night.
Like, yeah. I mean, you just in the shirt that you're wearing right now, with your like your beard, your baldness, your whole thing. If you just posed against a brick wall with like a saxophone and it was kind of a smoky background, like Tinder is the night. Like that's an album cover. You have it. You're doing it. Yes.
I have to make that happen now. I really do.
It needs to happen. It needed to happen.
I actually know someone who has a saxophone, so it actually is possible. Oh, shit. Right. Fine. That's it.
Got to do it.
New life goal.
All right. So, with the new life goal in mind. We can't venture forth into episode 14 quite yet because we still have to talk about
Twitter poll.
Last week's Twitter. So, let's revisit this. The episode 13 Twitter polls. Are gangsters worse gossip? Reading. It's difficult. In my own native language, especially. Are gangsters worse gossipers than basically anyone? 59% said, I don't know, but did you hear the... 39% said yes.
I didn't realize we had a bunch of criminals watching this stream, but I guess we did.
Right, yes. Only 2% said no.
Fun-loving criminals, to be fair.
Are you glad he's gone? I think you know who we mean when we say he. 48% said yes. No, sorry, yes! Yes! All caps, yes. 35% said yes. And 17% said yes. There's no option. So 100% of people are glad he's gone. How many plane tickets booked for AG will go unused? Possibly the favorite poll I've ever created. 150 votes. 78% of those people said too many, which is my personal favorite answer. 13% said 2 to 3, 9% said 4 to 5, but too many wins in a landslide. Too many plane tickets for AG will go unused.
I'd have also accepted all of them.
Yes, all the ones. All the plane tickets from LA to Japan. Okay, so are we ready now to proceed into Tender is the Night?
The episode, not the
jazz album cover.
Not the doujinshi, not the erotic novel, just this specific.
The subtle brass band. Oh my god. All right. Ahem. So, the rundown. Here we go. Ash to hospital. Bleeding. Hurting. Will he make it? Only 50% chance. eBay and Max at the airport. Sees news of gang fights and calls Charlie.
Can I just say something before we go any further? There's an insert bit that I have to comment on here where I think eBay is remarking on the friendship that AG and Ash have built up, and how he's like, I should take AG back.
I shouldn't.
And
maybe I'm doing it wrong.
So there's like a couple of flashback stills here of times that AG spent coming out of his shell, and the second one was him holding a gun and smiling as eBay is narrating this incredibly tender moment. I was pissing myself with laughter. I was like, I brought him to America and he finally came out of his shell by holding a revolver.
He left behind the stiffness of Japan for the stiffness of the U.S. rifle.
I just couldn't help but think that was what even.
And the stiffness of something else.
A stiff drink, which I've actually finished, so let's just... This is a little bit Right, anyway, where were we?
Okay. eBay's insane.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yes. He's like, okay, I'm covering a gang war that might get me killed. Should I A, leave, or B, try to save my career? Against my own better judgment and any sort of common sense. Well, option B, fuck it. Jesus.
Oh, boy. By the way, please let us know if you're having streaming problems. If my audio is low again, or if the video is weird. So let us know so we can sort it out either now or after. I always appreciate that feedback.
If eBay was like a wartime report, like, when you see, like, people going out to, say, like, the Middle East, like, he is the one person who would wear his, like, body armor, his bulletproof vest as, like, a sock. Or something, or, like, a pair of shorts. He would have it on completely ass backwards.
Yeah.
This bulletproof helmet is something that he wraps underneath his arms and puts round his chest. He's just... He's not playing with a full deck. He really isn't.
Oh, eBay. What did you think of the new OP?
I thought it was rad.
It's good.
I thought it was great.
It's real good.
I think, as you remarked, Doc, like, it seems to come from very much the same kind of early 2000s mentality as the previous one, which was by Survive Said the Prophet. I think that was it.
Sure. You can Google it if you want, and I'll talk.
Yeah. But this is a lot more melancholy, and I was really I was quite okay with that, actually.
Yeah.
Nice change of pace.
Yeah, less thrashy swirling guitar sort of. Yeah. I did like the last part. What's the last line of it? Like, get away from me in English, something like that. That was just, that's good. That's always real good. I like Banana Fish. It's a good show. Okay. So, wow, what did I write here? Oh, Ash is having nightmares while in surgery. AG is in jail. Wondering what Ash meant when he said, I wish that you didn't see me like this.
Carving someone up into turkey.
I mean, it's not... I mean, I guess I understand, like, sort of pondering that sort of thing, but I don't know. It seems pretty clear, AG, what he meant. I don't want you to see me with blood on my hands, killing people. So, Yulung is back! Yulung is back, everyone.
Mr. Darkside the Moon himself. He has returned at long last. And he's been up to some shit while he's been away, as it turns out. I mean...
Yulung.
Are you sure we should be supporting him given what he's done to his brother, though?
Oh, look. I mean, he's despicable. I love him, though. I love this despicable character in my show. Makes it interesting. He's great on camera. I need this antagonist. I love Yulung. Back. And I thought, like, this occurred to me seeing Yulung in the limo, because so the way we see him is Singh and AG get, like, sprung from jail because there's been a favor called in or something, and AG gets kidnapped by Yulung, and Singh gets to ride in the fancy part of the limo, and Yulung is dressed in a business suit with like a cowboy tie, and is not wearing makeup or at least lipstick. But the other times we sort of seen him getting ready to have meetings or whatever, he was putting on like a more feminine gown or something like that, doing his hair feminine and putting on lipstick, and it reminded me of this character. Have you seen Mr. Robot? Has anyone seen Mr. Robot? It's really good. It's an excellent television show.
I know. I haven't seen it.
What does that mean? Yulung is a villain from Disney's Gargoyles.
I think maybe we were possibly mispronouncing his name.
Oh, maybe. How do you pronounce it?
I'm just going to call him Mr. Darkside of the Moon.
It's Yulung, isn't it? Yulung. I thought I looked it up and spelled it and pronounced it correctly. Yes, he does. AG does get kidnapped in front of the police station. That's incredible. I hadn't thought about the irony therein, but just yes, shoved in the car. Mr. Robot is a good TV show, and there is a character who is I believe and sort of by day is this Chinese ambassador. It's not very clear on if, like, sort of from his own point of view, what his gender identity and sexuality are, because, like, he also is, like, the leader of a criminal organization and stuff. Spoilers for Mr. Robot. But he is that as a lady. And so you often see him getting ready to go to these underground and bad meetings as a lady. And so you see him in a lot of the scenes that you see Yudlung, you know, like combing hair, putting on feminine traditional garb, like putting makeup on. But then you also see him like in his kind of forward-facing government role as a dude, like in a suit, shaking. It just reminded me of that character, which I'm always pleasant. It's always a good thing to be reminded of Mr. Robot. Yes. So AG gets kidnapped jokes. Yeah. This is the entire show, right? Like I said, he's been kidnapped, he being AG. And we see Sing and Yudlung stroll through Yudlung's mansion. And then we see the big brother. Oh boy, the big brother, like looking like I don't know.
He looks like me on the average Saturday morning if I've been out drinking the night before. So like,
I was gonna say Frankensteinian, but yeah, okay, let's go with just Shadon hungover.
Yeah, me being hungover. That's what he looks like.
Man, I like the guy's an asshole. Both of his brothers are absolute fuckers. But, like, I was totally with Sing. Seeing that, like, dehumanization of another person, you just felt like, bah, this is just monstrous. That's what's been done, you know. But, yeah, I think, yeah, it does seem like AG got tossed in the trunk of the limo, because, like, where else could he have gone? It's amazing.
They put him on the roof rack, clearly.
Yes. He's in the where the bike goes. So let's see. I'm unclear on what exactly Yudlung did to his brother, but you know, clearly he's done something.
Banana fish. He's giving him banana fish.
Okay, he doesn't outright say that, but yeah. Okay, so I guess it's clear enough. I was thinking that maybe he had people like kind of tweak it or something, but yeah, I mean that also could just be straight up banana fish.
It's just like, hey bro, try this. It's a syringe full of fabulous drugs. It can't possibly go wrong. What's the harm,
bro? Take a hit.
You've never stirred me wrong. You've clearly got no murderous intent. Let's give this a
Hey man, Yudlung has hid that murderous intent. He's serving it up ice cold. He's stuffed it down for over a decade.
It's alright, he put strawberry flavouring in it first, so it's fine. You know. Take the edge off it a little bit.
So, yes, the Baileys. Just put it in Baileys. Banana fish and Baileys.
It's going to turn me into a drooling moron more than usual.
So, like,
never mind.
This wasn't a particularly heavy episode, but I'm about to, like, bring in a sort of, I guess, heavy topic, like, that... Mainly because we talked about this last week, and just to touch on it again and try to be more concise on my part. So, again, you have, like, the death imagery with Ash, like, you know, kind of lovingly reaching out to Death, who's, like, kind of sort of limply, like, but also wantingly kind of extending its hands to Ash, and he's like, the sweet embrace of death. I can just forget the bad and the good, and just kind of be in this like numb state, this sweet bliss, almost like it's like this sort of high, right, where you just don't have to think about any of your problems or good things that you like that could turn into problems. And again, I just think it's useful, in my opinion, to bring in the perspective of a writer who has, like, who succumbed to suicide, I think, and also, like, dealt with, like, staved it off for a large part of his life, David Foster Wallace. And basically the way he writes about it is like, look, this whole, like, romanticizing of it is just fucking stupid. You know, it's not like, the sickly sweet poison, like, let me, like, jump into the arms of the black lover death, like the darkness. You know, it's like, it's fucking scary and terrifying. It's just slightly less terrifying than going on living. And I think that's a perspective worth thinking about and sharing. And I don't know, when I just see imagery like this these days, it just makes me shake my head. The same way, like, I guess, like, Romeo and Juliet does, you know? Like, being, like, romantic about it. Just... I'll be fair
to Ash and say that he was kind of half comatose, so I can forgive him for not thinking straight. If anything, I was surprised that he was able to have the thoughts he was able to, given that, you know, half his blood is currently somewhere else in Harlem while he's in Queens, clearly. So, I don't know.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
I'm saying, like, you know, I can forgive Ash for thinking the way he does, because he's missing half his blood, and he's also a bit comatose.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's a fair point.
But that's not to say that he hasn't, of course, conjured this out of nowhere. He has obviously considered it previously, as we had with, of course, the Kilimanjaro stuff in the previous episode.
Right. And it's like, but it's like you talk about with folding ideas. I mean, this is a work of fiction that the writers intentionally put it together and put it out there and chose this imagery intentionally in this way, you know. For what? Why?
Well, it's like the cheesy statement I said, where I think the question is not so much that Ash is certainly not afraid to die, but I think he is, again, to have the cheese unfortunately ooze out of your monitors and your earphones. He is afraid to live. I mean, that is incredibly corny, don't get me wrong, but I think there's a grain of truth to it as well with how he is as a person.
Yeah. Maybe.
Hopefully not in that corny way.
Yeah, it's hard to know. Like, I mean, I just wonder. Yeah, I don't know if the show has the chops to handle this issue, I guess. I don't even know if this is the sort of thing it's going for. Like, it could just... It's probably this, like, you know, tertiary kind of thing. They're like, oh, like, Ash, so tragic, you know what I mean? And whatever. Okay. So, now that that's out of the way. So, we have Yulung, like, fucking burying Eiji, just like ripping into him, being like, you, Ash's friend, Ash Lynx, like the mighty and peerless.
Oh, you.
Please. And then he goes on to like state sort of like an idealization, you know, Ash is like this wild animal who is completely free and untamable. And that's why he's so beautiful. Like, the people he needs in his life are people that worship him, or people that loathe him and want to kill him. He doesn't need anyone else. I guess because it would sort of corrupt, like, this sort of pure, wild, bestial kind of image that he has for him. You know, if he's humanized, if he's, I guess, like, burdened, we'll use Yulung's word, with friendship.
If he's elements of normality.
Yeah, like, he's spending his time with this guy? That he cares about this person? Who the fuck is this guy? You know what it definitely seems to bring the devil back down to, or back up, or whatever, to earth. Angel, devil, whatever they think Ash is. Sorry, chat's making me laugh. The Fate Stay Night references.
It's an appropriate twist on that old quote, given actually what happens to Shiro in that little plot line, funnily enough. So that's actually pretty top tier there, my glory, and I approve of that.
Trickster in chat says Yutlung and Eiji are going to fight each other over a disagreement about why exactly Ash is so awesome. And it's true. They really are. Like, Eiji is going to be, like, you know, he's going to be assaulted verbally by Yutlung's kind of view of the world and view of Ash, and he's going to be like, I don't know. Is this true? I have such self-doubt. And then he's going to kind of, you know, go on the inward journey for an episode, think about his time with Ash, come to his own realizations, and then put him out there, and we're going to hear, like, no, Ash is truly, like, not a devil, not an angel. He's a human. He's a boy who I love and who loves me, and he's vulnerable, and he's scared of pumpkins.
I really thought you were about to say then, like, we're going to be one big happy family at the end. You were leading into that song there.
I don't know that song. Is it like
I love you, you love me, we're one big...
No. The Barney song. That's a classic. Well, so this happens, and then, so Ash is sad in bed. It's the next line I have, because it's true. And then the nurses come in.
Oh, fucking hell. I don't know how to feel about that scene. I really don't.
Is the tonal whiplash bugging you? Or is it just because...
No, actually.
They want to see his dick? Like,
they want to see... They want to see... No. Neither of those things. Neither. I'll save it for a talking point, actually.
Does it bother you that we all don't get to see Ash's dick? Do you want to see him, you know, relieve himself in a bottle?
Well, to be fair though, Doc, like if we were to see it, would need to be from space because it's just that fucking big that we need to have a proper sense of scale for.
Yes. Yep, it's true.
I mean, if it was like, I mean, I've seen, you know, you've got Japanese shows where they sense that shit. So it's just going to be a pixelated mass. I think, like, you know, my internet connection was bugging out and it was going to 144p. You know?
Yeah. Right. The nurses are... I don't know. I also, like, to be honest with you, I haven't really thought very critically about this. Like, it's whatever. You know... It's anime jokes. Like, I'm glad that Ash was like, you know, go away. This is not a show for you, you know, and all that sort of thing. I guess. I didn't, but it would, like, I don't find it, like, bothersome, but it also didn't really make me laugh, so I could, if it was cut, I wouldn't care very much. So then we cut to the politicians and the generals scheming
including the Republican senator who just literally has no neck. It's just head then shoulders.
The very same.
I mean, I'm a bit rotund myself, but I do actually have a distinct neck. This gentleman was just full goiter. He was packing, you know, fucking extra weight on. It's ridiculous.
I bet there's like a sign on the door that says like head of schemes. And you go in there, you know, and it's just dudes sitting in a circle plotting. Because
I'm surprised they went in low light. I
know. I just totally it feels so like, I don't know, normal, but maybe that's the insidious part of it. It's just a regular room. This just happens in Washington or whatever. But yeah, they're like, look, Ash knows too much. Got to take him out.
Well, that was just because he had an IQ test in which he scored 180. As if that means anything. Sideways tangent. Sideways
IQ test.
Sideways tangent here, folks. IQ is a popcorn statistic and is not an actual genuine measure of intelligence. in any way, shape, or form is about as useful to your understanding of your own intellect as BMI is to your actual health. Because you can, in theory, have a BMI that makes you overweight, but you can also be packing muscle every corner of your body. So, yeah, you know. Well, the thing is, my Glorian, if the scheme did take place now, it wouldn't happen because there's clearly no fighting in the war. You know, no fighting allowed in it. And no commies either. So...
I totally.
I'm so hoping that is a Doctor Strangelove reference. Please tell me it is. I'll be very happy if that's a Doctor Strangelove reference. I fucking love that film.
I didn't take any notes on the IQ test, mostly because like I just watched it and thought like, why are they doing this?
Like, I know exactly why they're doing this.
But to make Ash look smart, to make him look awesome, and talk about Fibonacci sequence.
I'm saving my thoughts on the IQ test.
Okay.
And no, it's not just because I think IQ testing is bullshit. There's a broader idea behind it.
It's because Ash is a very stable genius. And that's why. Okay, so yes. I guess, yeah. They're like, this boy. I remember this boy. He has an IQ of 180. He used to be Gulzine's pet. He almost charged me $20,000 a night for him. And now we have to take him out because he knows too much about the schemes that we've been scheming. So we will send an assassin. Whoosh. Cut back to the hospital. Ash, seemingly asleep. Nurse that looks remarkably like the nurse we've seen. Gives a sexy wave at the guard, lets her by without any issue, goes in and is about to stick something in Ash's IV. Who are you? You're not, what's her name? I can't remember her name. I'm sorry. And you're clearly here to kill me. What's in the vial? And they fight. Ash is able to, like, get her in like a hammerlock and obviously like a chokehold, but she kills herself with the drugs.
I thought it was a cyanide pill myself, but it doesn't matter. It's minor. The only question I was asking is if they wanted Ash dead that badly, why didn't they just literally pay some random homeless bum to, blow the place up with an RPG? That's not really a criticism, though. It's just me being ultra nitpicky.
Yeah,
but like
they don't want to cause a national incident. I guess they just wanted to give him the lethal injection. So he survives this, and Max is there. He's in the episode a few times, and Max is saying this is going to keep happening if you remain here. So we've got to get you out of here. We're going to figure this out. And Ash slumps over, still wounded. His wounds have busted open again. Been torn open. Much like Dojima in Persona 4 in his scene. And he has to be, re-stabilized. And so, cut back to the head of Scheme's office. It didn't work. Our assassination failed. What do we do now? I like to imagine there's
a load of like cut content where they just kept trying to kill Ash over and over in increasingly ridiculous ways and failed every time. Like, okay, so the clown visiting the hospital didn't do it with the little squirty thing with the acid. That was a no-go. Nah, that didn't happen. We had, the bunch of crazy Australians going. That didn't work. The ninjas, they didn't work. It just ain't happening, folks. They just can't kill this motherfucker.
They can't. Clearly, they've tried everything. And so they give him to the Mannheim steamroller. Was Dr. It's not Mannheim, it's like Mannerheim, who sends a couple of people in there that are like, hey, we're the FBI. and we're here to take you away because you need to go to a mental institution because of your test. Like, well, this doesn't sound fishy at all. The FBI wants to take me to get mental health. Like, what? I mean, Ash knows. I mean, but can't really. He's not really in a position legally or physically even to refuse. And I didn't mention earlier how he figured out that that the nurse was an assassin. It turned out to be because, she was not wearing any fragrance of any kind. She didn't smell like any antiseptic. And thus he knew she was a killer. And when he tells this to Max is just like, God damn it, you're clever. You're so smart. Which made me laugh. And again, we get more Ash is super smart when he's blindfolded. He has the sleep mask on, essentially. And he's kind of telling himself based on the movement of the truck, the shifting of the weight, the smell of the air, all right, we're going north. Salty air. Clear we were by the ocean. No, we're bumping. We're crossing a bridge. We're crossing that bridge. And, like...
The guy on the left, he's got a really cheap cologne.
Exactly.
The guy on the right, it's really good.
He did that.
Quite impressed.
He did that. He's like, you're FBI. Like, you have this brand name tie and this brand name shoes. Like, you're not FBI. So yeah, he's as stated by Trickster, he's become Sherlock Holmes. Which is, very funny. Max ends up getting signed to, he and the partner, to do the big kind of criminal conspiracy expose for, I don't even know what the name of the outlet is, the magazine or newspaper or whatever, but yeah, an editor has picked up this story of the Golzine, the radical Golzine and government conspiracy, Banana Fish. It's going to get out there. It's just a matter of time. And then the cliffhanger of all cliffhangers, a plot twist so insane that no one believes it. No one in the audience takes it seriously. Ash is reported dead on the news. Says that the FBI transported him to a facility, a mental facility, and he died. And those words echo in AG's head as we cut to the new ED. And that's episode 14. Tender is the anime boy who holds you softly.
If only that actually really genuinely happened.
All right.
Okay.
Woo.
All right, talkie boys. Do you want to go first, Doc?
I've been talking for a bit, so let me hit the sounder and then I'll let you go.
Talking points.
All right, hit me with your talking points.
All right. I have two specifically, so I'll start with the first, which is actually a positive one. Unfortunately, the other one is negative because, I can't like everything for eventually everything sours. Like Bailey's left out too long. But anyway, so let's talk about Mr. Darkseid, the Moon himself, Look Young, for a second. So here's the thing, right? I actually really, really enjoyed his scene with Su Ling, and also then later with Eiji, when you combine them together in context. Not just because it was good to have him back, because it was, but because of the grace and meaning that we got from this for his character. So here's the thing, right? Ash, up until he met Eiji, I would say probably never actually genuinely had... Well, he had friends, I'd say, like Chaucer, for example. But they were always associated with him criminally. They were always involved in his operations. They were never truly divested from him. I mean, you might, for example, always read stories, say, for example, of soldiers, who have wives or husbands, completely just separate from their careers, who they come home to and live a normal life with. But Eiji was like the first genuinely normal, uninvolved individual that he ever met, and who he became quite close to. And he didn't have to, control Eiji through fear, through power, through structure. None of that. He just was genuinely good close to him. And then we have Look Young, who, I again apologize for mispronouncing the name there. He, conversely, has always either A, been living in, the thrall of his brothers, he's never ruled himself. He's never like led anyone. And the only way that he, in the end, could actually convince his older brother to stop using him as a tool was to stab him full of banana fish. And so, here's the thing, right? We get, of course, Look Young's like, protestation to Eiji, like, I hate you, I want to tear you limb from limb. And I genuinely think that's jealousy of both Eiji and Ash showing up there. In that, I think that he genuinely wants to be able to befriend someone whom he can have like as a ward or someone he cares about that isn't necessarily related to the criminal stuff. And fully enough, there is such a character. And who is that character that Look Young has like, been, wooing a little bit? That would be Su Ling. I reckon, and this might be wrong, but I reckon that Look Young is trying to basically mold Su Ling into his own version of Eiji, having seen that relationship play out between the two, between Ash and Eiji. He wants to try and replicate what he's seen elsewhere because he's envious of it. I mean, for as much as he complains about people idolizing Ash, he himself is one of those people, even though he'd never openly admit it. So I found this again to be a very fascinating extra puzzle piece to his character. It's making him all the more like, into an interesting villain. And also someone who's got astute observations. I mean, I would argue that he is correct that, in some way Eiji is a burden. But, well, who can say... I would argue that, loving someone is always going to be a burden, to be honest, in some way.
Yep.
It's not necessarily a bad thing,
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like, he completely doesn't understand how to coerce or to persuade or even to cooperate with people to get what he wants. Why else does he force his brother to do his bidding with banana fish? He didn't end up, saying to him, look, right, you've used me as a tool all these years. You've used me to, wile people, to coerce them, to seduce them. But I'm better than that. Can't you see me for who I really am? And can you not treat me as an equal or as a senior? In the end, he had to force it. He had to force the issue by drugging him up to the nines. As opposed to, the way Ash would have done it, which was, well, as we saw with with Cain, where he just talked with them. This is the thing, right? Banana fish is the power to compel and control people. Just by drugging them. Simple as that. But what Ash has done
he wants to make him suffer tremendously much. To do something awful because he's not even concerned with making them see his point of view, I don't think. Or maybe he'll make some kind of declaration about it at the end, but I don't know. For sure, but consider that all of the alliances that Ash has won have been just for him talking and persuading for his natural charisma. Yeah.
Whereas the position that Look Young has actually...
it's preternatural charisma, I'd argue.
Well, yeah, there is that. But the position he's got into at this point, where he's now basically running things, is something that he has cheated his way to, I would argue. Now, you can argue ends justifies the means and all that, and his brother was a dick, and I personally think, that is a fate that his brother shouldn't have suffered. But, yeah, I think that what Look Young is essentially trying to do is he's trying to become more like Ash, to also have the relationships Ash has and the respects that he has and the skills and the talents. And certainly there's a lot of skill and talent with Look Young, don't get me wrong. But he's trying to emulate the Eiji thing with Su Ling, and that's not really... That's a bad facsimile at best. He's trying to get people to, see his way into, to rule them, as if his brother. But he had to, shortcut it. He's a pale imitation, although he wouldn't admit it, but he's a pale imitation in a different way than Arthur was. Arthur was all brute force, whereas Look Young is more like, subtlety and skullduggery. So I'm really appreciating all the extra puzzle pieces they're putting in his place here, and the things that he does to make him, seem sympathetic, because obviously, he's living in the shadow of Ash here. But, yeah, certainly still to have more of him is always welcome, and I keep appreciating the little extra layers they add to him, such as they did here.
Cool. I actually haven't written down any points, so I'm just going to riff. And, yeah. Yeah.
Banana, fish, banana, fish, banana, fish.
Sorry. Oh, this is a story all about how I... Anime turned me upside down.
Holy shit, that's That's genius. Are you saying that AG is Carlton? Yes, he fucking is Carlton.
Him or eBay?
Oh my fucking god. Well, we peaked. That's it. We peaked.
We might have peaked. We might have just peaked. I'm sorry. We might have peaked too soon. It's only episode 14.
I'm so sorry, folks. That's his fault.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty great, though. That was a genuine moment of brilliance, I must say.
So, I thought Miss KR brought up an interesting point in the chat that Yulung, is, of course, singularly driven to enact his revenge. Well, maybe not singularly driven. It's his chief motivation. He's got, as you pointed out, Shadon, other irons in the fire with Ash. But I think largely he's living to revenge, to deploy his vengeance on his family for killing his mom brutally in front of him when he was a boy. And in doing this, and entrapping his brothers and making them suffer, he's becoming more and more like them. The things that he hates, and perhaps it's a thing that he himself doesn't realize, or even if he does, he doesn't care or can't stop it. The inertia is pushing him forward. And it's a point you brought up very early on in our Banana Fish viewing. I think perhaps back when we were, perhaps back when the show had less silliness at times in it, and we were speaking very, very seriously about it all, that, a thing that we were seeing is the kind of the cycle of pain and the cycle of crime and violence and dehumanization, that it just, begets more violence and dehumanization. And
that's right.
I think, this theme is being reinforced with Yulung in what he's doing. Because, early on when he was first kind of debuting in the show, he had these little moments, when we saw his backstory, when he kind of stole a sidelong glance at Asia and Ash, that you could be like, there's something in the way of a human there. But, as he's taking more and more of a role in daylight activities, and in his syndicate, he's becoming less and less of that and more of a, very twisted, evil monster.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to me. He's just a really, really interesting character.
You've just made me think of something, actually. I'm going to throw it out there, right?
Trickster.
Did you just...
Gosh darn it. Okay, sorry.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? You often get themes in works like Man's Humanity's Man, Power Corrupts Absolutely, all that sort of 101 jazz. But hear me out here, right? Going back to the idea of Banana Fish, the drug allows you to reprogram someone, and as has been shown before, it's turned people into animals who kill others, who destroy other people. But the thing is, are we not seeing that as a central character conflict for Ash, something that's happening to Lot Young? And, the fact that you don't need the drug necessarily to, twist yourself, to become a monster, to become an unthinking, unfeeling animal. Animal is a term that's thrown around a lot in here. I mean, you think that it's just Ash that gets it. Su Ling has always worn the jacket with the monkey on it, which I'm spitballing here wildly, so I could be wrong, but maybe that's a reference to Sun Wukong, the Monkey King. That is a complete spitball to the left, so please... I point to the right, but anyway, you have a point.
Could be. I mean, it's an important animal in Chinese mythology, I think.
Yeah, but that's the thing I'm getting at here. I think that Banana Fish, the show, is through Banana Fish, the drug, trying to make a point that, you don't need a magical, whatever that mystery X drug was mentioned. So in order for people to be twisted into unthinking, uncaring, psychopathic monsters, the worst kind of inhuman qualities. People can, through environment, from what they learn from people, the way they're treated when they grow up, they can become that just the same, I would argue. So maybe that's, I think, is an interesting point let's try and make there, that maybe, all this drugs, it does what it does, that's fine, but you know what? You don't need it to twist people, and as it's seen with Ash, he's trying to fight for his humanity, whereas look, seems to me like, you know what, he's willing to let more and more of it go.
Yep. They should make a zombie show with these themes. I'm the real monster.
I'm sure that must have happened somewhere already.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah, no, that's the theme of every zombie show. So like that is what I have for my first point. What is your next negative point?
Well, it's something that the chat has been alluding to. It's something that I alluded to in the previous episode, where I kind of had that epiphany about Ash's construction as a character in the narrative. And it continues here, so I'm not going to belabor it too long, but unfortunately the show or the material is going out of its way to make Ash out to be basically this Ubermensch,
the ideal anime man. Boy.
Yeah. To its detriment, I would argue. I mean, I argued previously that the reason that Arthur was crap as a rival was because in order to make Ash look good, they had to make him actively look worse, which is not good writing, I'm sorry to say. And now that he's gone, they've reversed course here. Now they're just making Ash be fucking prescient. This is the reason why I said before I wasn't down with the idea of the nursing. It's not because it's comedy. Like, comedy is welcome at times. Like, it's like, it is downtime. Ash has just finally killed Arthur, that fucking miserable shithead, off. He's dead. But it was a harrowing experience. Ages in jail, everything's messed up. Let's have a moment of goofy levity in which the nurse is all, ooh la la, oh, well, I'll be. So there's that. But I don't mind that as a concept. What I'm not necessarily okay with is the fact they keep belaboring the point about Ash being, A, incredibly attractive, and B, incredibly smart, skilled. He's not actually got a flaw that I can think of thus far. I mean, the one thing that you could argue that he's done throughout the show... Well,
he doesn't like Halloween. That's a huge flaw.
That is pretty crippling, I won't lie. That is pretty bad. But insofar as, deep, meaningful character flaws go, there isn't really one that I can think of. I mean, his crimes, if you want to call them that, are murdering tons and tons of people who were going to kill him, so you could make the self-defense argument. Killing Chaucer, which was the lowest he went, but I would also argue using the unfortunately horrible moral calculus of that moment to be the right choice to do. Right being a relative thing.
The chat. Sorry. They're just tickling me. Ash is the best at Sword Art Online.
Well, it's like I alluded to in my famous tweet, which was, he's playing Grand Blue Fantasy when Age was digging him up.
Right.
He was rolling that gacha. I mean, yeah, money for it. He got the Goose Fund. He can roll all the gacha he wants all day. Yeah. Spend those crystals. He's going to get him a Saber Altar. Of course he is.
5-star.
Anyway, 5-star, yeah. So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to just say that in the long run, I think it's a bit late now for Banana Fish to start dialing back on Ash's character insofar as making him less godlike, is the word I would use for it. Don't get me wrong, I still think the show is pretty fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is its principal flaw, and I think that people in the chat have been alluding to it as well.
They have.
That it takes too much pain to make him look to be amazing at everything he does. But it's to either A, to the detriment of the other characters by making them look stupid, or B, it's just ridiculous, over the top and stuff. Like, I could have completely settled with him being silent in the van while the FBI guys talked to him, I didn't need to have more info drilled into me at that point. That he was able to calculate where they were going.
It really is
and
like
also,
it's like the BBC Sherlock Holmes sequence. You know, I'm surprised they didn't do like the 360 zoom around his head and show like math equations and shit in the air. They sort of did that when he was talking to the IQ man, and they did the funny like sped up talk.
Yes, like that could have been those lines from Ash. In fact, the entire conversation could have been completely cut. Nothing would have been lost by that. Like, what does that scene tell me? That Ash is incredibly smart and attentive. I already knew that. We're 14 episodes in. This is thoroughly established at this point. I don't need to know it anymore. It's just circle jerking in a sense, I suppose. Yeah. And it's going too far.
I mean, you can fall in love with your own characters. I guess that's always a temptation as a creator. But yeah, I mean, we've seen him, you know, be a super hacker, and we've seen him, you know, affect the global markets by being a hacker. So, but I guess this is a different kind of smart. Like, you know, they've shown him as hacker guy, but they haven't. At least refresh my memory. Have they shown him before that he's got these kind of incredible, like, almost instincts? You know what I mean? Like the whole fragrance thing and the direction thing, like that his mind is just operating on the Sherlockian level. We haven't really seen anything to that extent before. But as you say, we don't really need to. I don't think.
I mean, there are times when I think it's appropriate to rewind to a previous episode. You might recall the dinner scene between him, Golzine, Arthur, Max, and eBay, in which Golzine gives him wine and says, "Tell me about the wine." Now that tells us about, you know, what Golzine has. Yeah, it textures their relationship a bit. It's not just about making him smart because he knows the wine. It's something that he has been deliberately taught. We realize that not only has Golzine been, you know, abusing him, but he's been grooming him. He's been dressing him up, not just in terms of what he wears, but also what he knows. You know, when you present someone out there, it's not just a question of what they look like, unless you know catwalk model, for example, but that's neither here nor there. But it's also a question of what they say as well and how they look. So, you know, when Golzine brings his little pet in to meetings, as was alluded to the senators and such, like, well, would you be willing to explain to these people, Ash, what you think of this most amazing wine? So yeah, there are times like that when it's appropriate because it textures the characters and their relations.
Yeah, it does.
And there's times like in the FBI cart where it's like, whatever.
I know. Yeah, that line is actually a really good example because I feel like it does a lot of heavy lifting. It serves like all these different purposes in addition to what you want to say by making him super detective. And yeah, I mean, I guess it's weird. Like, a lot of times I'm pretty forgiving about this sort of thing, but I think it's just because, well, the quality of the show is quite high, and so the sort of the dips stand out. And Ash sort of hasn't always been presented in this light. You know what I mean? Like, it took a lot of episodes, right? Like, first it was just sort of like, well, he's the streetwise, you know, gangster. And then it's sort of like, well, he's like a world-wise sort of bred for finer things, you know, person. And then it just keeps on kind of, you know, building. We get the hacking stuff, and then we get this. So yeah, it's a lot. Have you ever seen H Bomber Guy's 3-hour YouTube video? Sherlock is garbage, and here's why.
Yeah,
I watched it all too, even though I've not watched Sherlock.
The thing is, it's the same principle though, as H Bomb alluded to in there, in that it's not plausible how intelligent he is. It goes too far to make him look like someone beyond us mere mortals, which is not good writing. I don't like. For a start, it's way too late in the game to start throwing this stuff. I mean, what do we ultimately gain from Ash deducing the routes in which the truck is taking? Now, I'll be fair, maybe that might come up in the next episode in which he says, I know where, and, you know, I know where I am. I don't know. It could be ways, but as it stands right now, it's just literally him doing it because it makes him look smart to the audience, which is we already know. So what's the point?
Is there anything that you think? I mean, we've talked about the Yudlung stuff, but other things that you think that this episode did particularly right? Because like, so for me, I guess the scene. So the scene with the assassin, I thought I have like kind of multiple layered thinking about it. On the one hand, you could cut it out of the show entirely, I feel, and wouldn't lose anything, because at the end of the episode, I do largely feel that like apart from a couple of like, I mean, there's that one giant thing that happens at the end, but other than that, I don't think we've moved that much forward from the previous episode. But like, so I feel that. But on the other hand, I also feel like if you're gonna have it in here, like on a certain level, I thought it was very amusing, like that. It almost functioned like an episode of a children's cartoon. You know, the bad guys scheming in a room kind of bookends the action scene. You know, you have the beginning of like, how do we take him out? Let's send in this, like, you know, villain of the week. Villain goes in, tries to do their job, foiled again. And then
I'll get you next time, Gadget.
Exactly. Very much that. And so in that way, like, it was entertaining. I think this is one of those situations where it's entertaining to me because I'm watching it weekly. Like, that was like a fun bit. But I think if you're kind of going through the show marathon style, that's a very inessential part of it in some ways. Unless, I mean, you know, like the unless it matters more in the end. Ash is more like a Sherlock Holmes villain, like Moriarty.
Is he gonna fight Dino on the Reichenbach Falls? Oh fuck, man.
Well, but okay.
Does that mean
so, sorry. Go ahead.
Does that mean that Luke Young was the principal villain behind this version of Hound of the Baskervilles? Could be.
We'll just say yes. It's been too long since I've read that book to like even grasping references. So, you were gonna say things that the episode did well that you thought.
I'll be honest. I'm not gonna say it did anything bad, but there was nothing else that particularly stuck out to me. Yeah. It felt kind of like a repeat of the previous episode where there was a significant flaw but a significantly good bit.
Yeah. But man, the good bit was not nearly as good as the good bit. I mean, I like the Yutlung, but like, holy shit, man. The leopard flashback from last week was so much better than anything in this episode, in my opinion.
Yeah. I'll be fair as well in that this episode also didn't have the complete massacre of dozens of people in a way that made, you know, Uncharted look realistic. So it had that going for it. This was more of a downtime kind of thing where it felt very functional. Like, things need to happen to advance certain things. So it's not playing chess so much as it is organising pieces on the chessboard for someone else to pick up later.
The only problem is, I mean, I'm not really, apart from Yutlung, I guess, being reintroduced into the story, I don't know, I feel like more could have probably been advanced. But maybe I'm just in a hurry for things to happen. Which is like annoyingly hypocritical of me if you're going to watch all these videos sequentially. Because like previously I'm like, oh, things are happening so fast. Can we have a moment to breathe? And when we get 2 weeks or nothing happens, I'm like, God damn it. Can you speed it along? Oh, this is the perils of watching weekly. You know, your mindset and you as a viewer will change, you know, and yeah. So, I was a little, like, apart from the OP and ED, I was a little disappointed in the music. Because, like, none of it stood out. Like, I don't remember any piece of music from this episode. Usually there's, like, one scene where I'm like, oh, they killed it there. Like, that piano ballad or the synth was so good. But, like, yeah, it just wasn't present, really. It didn't make itself a part of the episode.
Sadly not. But still, I thought I mean, I actually disagree with you. I think that the Look Young stuff was better than the stuff we had previous episode because it was focused on a character up to this point that hasn't as much development as Ash has. So I was glad to have him return and then to get the extra layers to it.
That's fair. No, it was, yeah. That's a good point. I guess, boy, I just really liked that flashback scene personally.
It was good. It was really good.
It was very it was very, I don't know, it just resonated with me at the time. But I feel what you're saying. Like that's a good point. And I mean, I said, earlier in the episode, like, thank God he's back because Dino's gone away, Arthur's gone for good, we hope. So some kind of antagonist needs to be there, and he's my preferred one of the three anyway. So glad he's back. What is your next talking point?
I'm done. That's
You're done.
All I really
Okay.
want to say.
Yeah, I don't have too much more to say either. I mean, I said a few little things I wanted to say throughout the summary. I guess that's like it's funny. Like this episode is gonna be like slightly more than half the length of some of the ones we've done recently, just because there's not like a ton to talk about. I can't wait for the last episode. That stream will be 5 hours long, says Mir. That's gonna be great.
If that happens, I'm gonna do what I did like we did for the final Franks episode, where I just got drunk throughout all of it. Yes. I was literally there, just like as we were talking about the bullshit. I was just like, right, vodka. So that's gonna happen. Yeah, we'll have a nice drink along while we talk shop again. And I prove my rampant alcoholism is still pretty strong.
It's gonna be like if Arthur comes back. We talked about he's fucking.
To be fair, he's already had his fingers stitched back on and they work.
They do. So like, this is gonna be Shadon. This you won't get this because this is Dragon Ball related. But we said he was the trashy Super Saiyan. This will be like the Bio Broly film version.
Bio Broly. Oh my god. I know Broly
of Banana Fish. Yeah. Well, when they kill Broly in film 10, in the 11th Dragon Ball Z film, some of the people that were side characters in the previous movie like extract some of Broly's DNA, Jurassic Park style, and his blood. They get his blood off a rock, and they
Broly DNA.
Yeah. John Hammond and Mr. DNA. Boom, Broly DNA. So like, yeah, he comes back and he's like a slime monster basically because he's kind of an imperfect form, an imperfect Broly. And the little kids get to beat him up. Yeah, pretty much.
Boss, I made a mistake. Fuck it, whatever.
I'm trying to think of a way to like. No, you know what? Nope. Just gonna shove that joke on through the line and to the no. Let's not.
It's over there.
Yeah. Let's not talk about Jello pudding. So apparently there's this Kimberly fellow. Kimberly I know from Full Metal Alchemist. I didn't like that person. Kimberly wasn't the bad cop from like episode 3 that made Ash watch that awful shit, was he?
Pass. I have nothing.
We'll see. We'll see. So I guess in the next few minutes, if anybody has any questions for us about stuff, we're happy to answer them, Banana Fish related or otherwise. There's a couple polls up. I'll read the polls.
Twitter poll.
We've also got to rate the episode, of course.
Oh my gosh, that's right. All right, so let's do this. The two polls that we have up for episode 14, Tender as the Night, featuring Shadon, is did 180 IQ Ash Sherlock links bother you in episode 14? Currently, 73% say no. Not bothered by the clever man. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Our next poll is Bailey's the best. Yes, maybe, no. Yes and maybe are currently tied. 50-50.
Yeah, that's fair.
Those are the polls. So
cool.
Let's rate the episode.
Right. So for me, my complaints and my likes about this episode were broadly the same as the previous one, funnily enough, for much the same reasons. But because this time it wasn't necessarily the good stuff wasn't focused on Ash, but was instead focused on Young. So we got, more dimensionality to a character who was in need of it, as opposed to, well, here's this very well understood character that we're just going to keep polishing a little bit more unnecessarily. In the end, I will rate this episode 3 out of 5 murderous sexy nurses.
That's a good one. Yeah, I mean, I'm struggling with what number to put on this because it is in terms of just a rating system, not for Banana Fish, but sorry, chat again tickling me. Not for a rating system, like, what am I trying to fucking say? God damn it, I'm tired. When it comes to just anime in general, like, and this anime episode versus all anime episodes, it's very good. There's, like, a trope issue, that sort of thing, but the writing is quite good overall. So it's certainly above average. I think I'm going to go a little bit higher than you, but this will probably be my lowest rating so far. I think I'm going to give it 3.12 false death reports out of 5.
Fair enough. That's the most esoteric rating we've had thus far.
No, the scale has suddenly become incredibly granular.
Christ. Well, the only way it could have been worse is if you decide you hate the episode and decide to rate it after the Fibonacci sequence that gets closest.
Yes.
I rate this episode a 1, 1, 2. Do you get the idea?
Listen to the BT song Fibonacci sequence. That's a good electronic music. IMO. That's always what I think of when I think of that. I don't think of math because I never learned about it because I never took, advanced mathematic courses in college. I was more of a humanities person.
Fair enough. So, by the way, next episode has one of the more revealing titles, which is In the Garden of Eden. Honey.
No, it doesn't. No.
It is. It's called the Garden of Eden.
Oh.
So,
yeah, man, and you brought up In Legata de Vida.
Yeah.
What a great song. Can that please be... Surely that's got to be like a JoJo's ending or something, right?
It's not, surprisingly enough. No, it isn't.
It's got to be one day. I mean, at some point, it's going to happen.
Stone Ocean, perhaps, who can say? But yeah, that's next one. And, well, here's the thing, right? So, okay, Garden of Eden. We all, of course, know the biblical references behind that. Adam, Eve, snake, etc., etc.
They grew tulips together and vegetables.
You could split hairs over who is, Adam and Eve in this, but who is the snake, you might wonder? Well, it's obviously our, lovable dark side of the moon, Look Young. So, tempting with a bit of knowledge, could happen to Eiji, perhaps?
Yeah.
I wonder.
Interesting. That's interesting, perhaps.
Stroke me beard.
What? So what you're telling me then is that The fucking war-torn Los Angeles is the Garden of Eden in this story. For Eiji. Who I guess is Eve.
Well, to be fair, one of
disproving the old evangelical axiom about Adam and Steve. We have Adam and Steve right here, thank you.
Well, to be fair, one of the previous episodes was called This Side of Paradise.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But it's just wrong. No, I understand. I understand an existential sense for Eiji. You know, finding someone that you can bond with on that deep level, like it is, you know, Paradiso in some sense, regardless of the kind of physical circumstances happening around you.
If I had to guess as well, I'm going to imagine that Ash is going to murder a fuck ton of people in that mental asylum.
So above, Sarah asked what we thought of the new ED. I loved it. I thought it was great.
I unfortunately missed it because Amazon decided to cock up and I didn't get right around to actually watching it. But I'm going to
Let's skip you to the next episode. Oh wait, it's you know, I wanted to see this ending, but no, watch the next episode right now.
Yeah. Thanks, Amazon.
Did you see the story about Amazon's sort of AI tool that they were using for hiring and how it they have recently stopped using it. They've been using it for 4 years. It was being developed and used, but it was found to be extremely gender biased, so they stopped using it.
Yeah, I heard that.
What was it? That it was just because of the bias inherent in the tech field. I think it was to do with the things they were searching in the applications.
What was the AI called? Dick Hunter.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Warui Deshou. Banana Fish, episode 14. Stream of thought.
Subparagraph 5.
Thank you.
10.
Thank you. The East of Eden reference in the chat now happening.
Wow.
I think that is definitely a sign that we should end this. So, Shadon, my own partner in crime and in life, what will people do if they want to find you on the internet? Where should they go?
Well, they shouldn't go there, but just like 50 Cent, they can find me in the club.
No.
Well, you can, in theory. I will probably be at a club at some point soon. But to answer the question legitimately, you can find me at Shadon1010 on Twitter, and similarly on CuriousCat.me if you want to send me questions of a pointed nature. So yeah, hit me up.
And if you'd like to, ask me about Banana Fish and tell me what anime I need to be watching, bother me about the puppets in Thunderbolt Fantasy, ask about how you can get into Japanese wrestling, then at the Subtle Doctor on Twitter. I almost forgot my Twitter handle because that's how tired I am. Sorry for just apologies for, I think, myself and Shadon. We're feeling pretty weary, but we did both want to do a stream and didn't want to let another week go by where we wouldn't do it. So
real life has been kicking both our asses regressively. Yeah. So,
but hopefully it was fun. I mean, it said chat is saying that they had a good time. So
I got to say the phrase. I got to say the phrase "Dick Hunter" and also sing the band.
Dick Hunter. Yeah, hopefully you folks viewing on the VOD will find this, at least, I guess, for a bad anime media, whatever it is. I want to say bad anime podcast because that's what we've been. But I guess now we're just a bad anime media, bad anime videos, whatever you're watching on. I hope you find this slightly acceptable.
We are a bad anime.
We are bad. You're just a bad anime.
We're too photorealistic. That's the problem.
I agree. The artists need to go back to the drawing board. What are they doing? Reconceptualize my character design, please.
Anyway, thank you all so much for taking the time to come join us. We'll be back probably early next week. I'd say it's 2:15, wouldn't it?
I think so.
Tuesday.
Sure.
Yeah. Things will be quieter this week. Thankfully, I'm not going to have any 6-hour-long business trips taking me to the arse end of fucking England, wherever I ended up. I will return. Doc will return. The Baileys will return.
The Baileys.
Yeah.
I wish I had Baileys. Not allowed at my place of work, unfortunately. This is not the, this is not the Sterling Cooper office, unfortunately. From Mad Men.
Well, you mean to say you're not a wine taster?
I'm not, unfortunately. AG's got not AG. I always do this. Ash has got one over on me there. He would definitely best me in the wine tastery.
This is true.
But if we're talking about soda, though, now that, my friend, that is a different. I think I could kick Ash's ass in a soda tasting sort of thing modeled after wine tasting. I don't really know what that would look like, but someone constructed, and we'll see how it goes. Anyway, everyone out there, thank you for watching or listening. If you're watching on YouTube and you want to have us in audio form, you don't like my face, just go to our SoundCloud or Apple Pods, wherever you get your podcasts, and you can download this as a podcast. Other things will show up in that feed as well that aren't in the YouTube section. I'm very slow about doing this, but I'm putting up pieces of like our Angel's Egg and Berserk discussions. Those are part of more full-length podcasts that you can get in toto by subscribing to those feeds. If you are listening in the pod and you want to participate maybe live in the listening, the chatting, what have you, of when we do these Banana Fish Talks, come on over to YouTube at Warui Deshou Anime Discussion, and just search that on YouTube and you'll find us. You can subscribe and smash the buttons and the bells. Shit. But yeah, follow us on Twitter. We got a Gmail. Hit us up if you want to talk. And with that, I will just say, once again, we love all of you out there. And as we say every week on this fair show, embrace each other, everyone, to the ends of the universe.
Good night.